So now you know what a shell is, but how do you use it? You can type commands and get output. So in this lecture we'll go over a basic Linux shell, just in case you don't have any experience with Linux. So it's a command line interface, there is no graphical commands, but using the shell you can control the computer. So using commands. So you type a command, press enter, and you get output. It's purely text-based, so there is no graphics at all. So it might seem a bit intimidating at first. However, once you try it out and try with some different commands, you'll become quickly familiar with it. So you type some commands here, and you'll get output. So first we'll go into some basic commands. So the echo command, and the echo command outputs any text that we provide. So when we type echo hello world, it will output hello world. So whatever we provide in here, it will output that into the console. Another command you can try is who am I, which tells you which user you are currently logged in as. So in this case, who am I? And you'll see I'm logged in as myself. So those are some basic commands. Using the command line, you can interact with the file system. So to clear the screen, you can press Ctrl L or type clear, that works as well. So Ctrl L or clear. If you press, you can enter any directory. So for example, we can type cd/, which is the root directory. And to list all the directories and files, we can type ls. So that shows you all the directories and files on the computer at the level of /. Now, you can enter directories. For example, we can type cd/user. And so now we're inside the user directory. You'll see /user in front of it. If we type ls, it will show you again the directories in the user directory. We can enter any of these directories. Just type cd share. Then we'll type ls again, and you'll see here there are many different directories. So let's try to enter any of the other directories. So let's say cd z shell. So we can type ls to show the files in this directory. In this case, there are directories in that directory as well. To go up a level of directory, you can type cd space ... So that moves one level up directory. You'll see that we are changing the directories. If I type ls here to list the directories, you'll see we are again in the user directory. So cd is short for change directory or current directory. And you can cd into any directory on the computer. So for example, we can enter the local directory and here list the files again. So there's several other directories here. Let's enter the share directory, cd share, press enter, list the files again. You'll see some different directories here again. So that's the basic cd commands. Another command you can use is the cat commands. So let me just cd/, which goes all the way back to the root directory. So another command you can use is the cat commands. And the cat command shows you the content of a file. For example, we can cat /etc. If I type ls here, you'll see there's an etc directory. So let's enter the etc directory, list the files, type cat command, and then any of the files. So you'll see the files here have a different color. The directories are in blue and the files are in white. So let's output any of these files. Let's say cat space hostname, and shows you the content of that file. So the hostname in this case is thinkbook. And you can do this for any file. For example, you might want to get the password file, which shows you the users on the system. And some files are a bit more cryptic than others. So if I type ls, it shows you the files in the directory etc. And you can type any, you can output any file. For example, let's output the file crontab with the cat command, and you'll see that contains this content. And this is the same as you would open it in a graphical editor. For example, if I start a graphical editor, you'll see that's the same content. So cat just shows you the file contents in the terminal. Now this is important because when you later control a computer through the terminal, you don't have a graphical access, you just have the terminal access. So yeah, we have the cat commands, which shows you the file contents. There's the pwd command that shows you the current working directory. So if I type pwd, it shows you in which directory you're currently residing. So now if I change the directory, let's say we go in the user directory, share, cd, and let's say in this directory, and now I type pwd, it shows you that now I'm in the directory user share defaults. Now on old Linux computers that was very useful because they wouldn't show the directory by default, but in modern Linux systems you always see the directory in front of your command, so it's not really necessary to run pwd. But you can run pwd because sometimes you'll have a shell like this and you're not sure which directory you're in, right? If you just have this sign. So then you can type twd and you'll see the directory that you're currently residing in. So that's shows you the current working directory. Now there's other things you can do. You can search inside files or search for files. For example, we can search for text files, so find -name and then star or asterisk .txt. So we search for text files with this command, and you'll see it outputs the text files that it found in the computer. For example, maybe you want to search for passwords or for pass. And it shows you some files, a password file. So in the etc directory, there's the password file. Now it's location dependent. So if I move up one directory and type it again, it's searching the entire computer for the password file. And it might also search like this. Okay, that didn't work. So with the find commands, you can search for any files. So you might search for images, text files, images like PNG files, and any kind of other images or any other type of file. So the find command is a command that you can use, but most likely you won't use it. There's the grep commands, and the grep commands you can use to search for something inside a file. So let's say we go into the etc directory, we type cat password. Now you'll see that outputs lots of data. So let's say we're only interested in a specific user, for example, the administrator user root. So we type grep root, and it shows you all the lines containing the word root. Or if I search for, let's say, all users that are using, all users that have a home directory. So I can type grep/home, and that will output all users with a home directory. So it searches for any file with the content you specify. So let me give you another example. I create a file with the touch command. Then I add some data to the file. And whatever data. And now I can search that file for a specific word. For example, I can grep for car, and you'll see all of the lines containing the word car, or all of the lines containing the word apple. So that's the grep command, which can be very useful to output files. And there's other commands you can use. For example, if you have a large file, you can use the head command and type -n, for example, 3 with your file name, and it shows you the first 3 lines of the file. So that's really useful if you have a large file, let's say of a file of hundreds of megabytes, and you can't just like output that, or it will be very slow, or maybe even crash the computer. So when you use head, you can output a number of lines. So from the top, the number of lines you want to output, and if you want to output from the bottom, you can use the command tail. So that shows you the 2 lines from the bottom, or if you increase that, 3 lines from the bottom up. If you just want to output the file, of course, you can always use the cat command, and you can use the grep command to search inside a file. So that are the basic Linux commands. Of course, there's a lot more to Linux, but this is the absolute basics on how to use a Linux system. If you want to create text files, there's many editors. Before, I've used Vim, which can be a bit hard to learn. So press the capital Z twice to exit it. There's other editors which you might find more easy, because Vim has a steep learning curve. For example, Nano, in which you can just press Ctrl O, Ctrl X, and whichever are shown here. So Ctrl X in this case exits the Nano editor. And there's also other editors. So if you need to, you can use any console editor as well to create files or to edit files. So that's the basic how you can control a computer in Linux. Or if you have a shell, you can use any of those commands to control a computer. You can edit files, you can look for files, you can search inside files, you can create files. There's other things you can do, like start programs or stop programs. There's a lot more to the Linux shell, but these are the absolute basics.